Hey everybody, welcome. This is Comic Weekly on Max Prime, inq.com, at Max Prime Reviews. June 1st, we have a lot of comic books to go over with you, but first we're going to start off with the two main headlines that have echoed throughout the internet. That is DC Rebirth #1 and Captain America #1. It's Max Prime. So I'm starting off this week talking about DC Rebirth #1, and again, last week's video I told you to pick that issue up. It is phenomenal. Jeff Johns wrote this comic book, and you get the feels as soon as you flip through the first page of the comic book. Spoiler alert, what we see in DC Rebirth #1 that caught everyone by surprise. I know DC Comics was hitting around for a long time about it being a secret person or people. Batman is in the Batcave and he's looking at the wall in his Batcave and he pulls out the comedian's button out of the wall. Watchmen. The Watchmen, folks. If you don't know who the Watchmen are, please research Watchmen. One of the classic, most sold graphic novels of all time, which were DC Comics characters. And finally we got to see Batman pick the button out of the wall, which means that the Watchmen characters might actually cross over for once with the actual DC universe. And if they are behind the events of the New 52, then that means that somebody from the Watchmen, aka Dr. Manhattan, as we've seen scenes of him talking to himself about deconstructing and reconstructing his watch, and also how things never end, they just continue. Wow. So that was like a mind-blowing moment from DC Rebirth #1. The Watchmen are involved. What's going to happen? If Dr. Manhattan's involved, it's going to be chaos. And that's why DC Rebirth #1, go pick that up. It's available now. Captain America. Captain America's comic book, issue #1 debuted last week. And it caused shockwaves throughout the Marvel Universe and through all the Marvel fanboys as we found out that Captain America is really a secret agent of Hydra. I know, that came out of the blue. I didn't understand it. Maybe it's some type of secret plot twist. Maybe he's just faking it. I don't know. But it caused such eruption and such a quake throughout the fanverse that Marvel actually received threats from all the fanboys and fangirls who were totally upset by Captain America being an agent of Hydra. Do you think it's just some secret plot? Please leave comments on the video and let me know, please, because I want to know. I read it. I was just shocked. I had no idea that was going to happen. So last news, last news is a little bit of a news. It's not even comic book news, but we actually got wind of that. If you're a big horror fan, and I know I used to read horror comics a lot, a lot of Jason, Freddy Krueger, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street. Well, we actually got news that Jason Voorhees is actually getting another movie. That's right, Friday the 13th is coming back, and the news of the day is that Jason, we're actually going to finally maybe see his origin story. Finally, we get to know where Jason Voorhees actually comes from, his whole entire origin, more than the Camp Crystal Lake story of him being pushed in the lake while camp counselors are making out everywhere. So we finally get an explanation on that, and that movie is coming soon, and we got a little spoiler alert on that. So again, to end this episode and this week's episode, to keep on rambling on about Rebirth and Captain America, here are my top picks of June 1st, New Comic Book Day. So in regards to DC Rebirth, we're going to tell you to go pick up Batman Rebirth #1, which kind of spilled out of the universe title. We're going to tell you to go pick up Superman issue #1 as well in the Rebirth title, as well as Green Lantern's Rebirth #1. And we're also going to tell you to pick up Civil War II #1, because this is very similar to the first Civil War, and Marvel's doing it again with Iron Man and Miss Marvel or Captain Marvel. Totally the same premise, fighting over freedoms versus security, but we have a different plot this time and a different twist and a whole set of different teams. So go pick up that issue as well.